Hello everyone, my name is Paola Alcalá and this is my video for the final exam of Resources and ICT at the University of Murcia. So let's start with the video. The exam is divided into two different parts and now I'm going to start with the first one. For this part I prepared some activities for my students. The age of my students is between 10 and 11 years old. They are in 5th grade of primary education. So now I'm going to talk about the general goals of this course according to the real degree of the region of Murcia. I have divided them according to the areas that are related to my project. First, in social science, students will learn about the most important events, people, and periods in the history of Spain. Understand how time is organized in history, use different sources of information like text, comics, or pictures to get historical facts, and also they will reflect on the importance of protecting our cultural and historical heritage. In English, students will write simple stories with the correct structure and grammar, take part in communication activities, and understand and read short stories that are adapted to their level. In art, students will use materials and artistic techniques to create personal works and express ideas and stories using drawings or pictures. And finally, in the digital competence area, students will use digital tools in a safe and responsible way to create content, and they will develop creative projects. Now I'm going to describe my students' profile. My students have a good academic level and they don't have any learning difficulties or disabilities. They are also bilingual, so they understand both Spanish and English content. This means that they don't have any problem to do activities in both languages. How I use the AI to design my activities. Okay, this is what I sent to AI to help me design the 3 interconnected activities. I explained that I wanted to create them for 5th grade students, that they should be related to history, and that I wanted to use stop motion, comic, and augmented reality as tools. Then the AI suggests these 3 activities. For the first activity, I really like the idea of creating a comic based on an historical character. But then I got another idea and I think that I liked it even more, so I changed the story. But I have used one of the tools that the AI recommended to me to create the comic. About the second activity, I didn't like it very much, so I changed it completely. I still used stop motion, but with different ideas. And finally, for the third activity, I like the main idea of making a timeline, but I have used another tool to create the activity, so it's very different. Now I'm going to explain the 3 activities that I have prepared for my final exam. All of them are connected. The main objective is to help students learn history in a creative and meaningful way, while also working on their digital, artistic, and communication skills. This is the first activity. In this one, students become time travelers who must visit a historical period and fix a problem that could change history. They work in pairs or small groups and first research the historical period they choose. Then, they create a comic using digital tools. I use Pixton. In my story, Christopher Columbus loses his map, and I travel back in time to help him recover it before it's too late. If he doesn't find it, he won't be able to discover America. The comic must include the historical problem, characters, including themselves and real people from that time, and a creative and educational solution. For the second activity, students choose one scene to recreate using plasticine and stop motion. The scene doesn't need to appear in the comic itself. It can show something that happened before the story began, like what caused the problem or something that happened after the event was solved. The important thing is that the scene must clearly belong to the same story. And the third activity is an interactive presentation made with Genially or with other apps such as Canva or others. In the presentation, the students must include a cover with the title of the mission they have created for the comic, a short summary of that mission or of that story, the stop motion video, and then they have to create a timeline with 3 events, one that happened before, one during the key moment of the story you choose, in my case the discovery of America, and one that happened after the event you save. And finally, they answered the question, what would have happened if you hadn't saved that moment? Now, let's take a look at how the digital tools that I've used in my project help students learn. To explain this, I'm going to use the PICRAT framework, which help us understand how technology is used in the classroom. The first app we are going to talk about is Picton. I've placed it in the Creative Transform box because students can use it to create their stories, so they are using their creativity to design dialogues, scenes, characters, and then the technology is the part that transforms the activity because it's just not writing, it's creating something digital, something visual. The second app is CapCut, and I have placed it in the interactive transform box because students take photos of their activity, an activity that they have done previously with their hands without technology, and then they use CapCut to do the animated video. It's a very hands-on visual and digital activity, and technology lets them do something that they couldn't do easily with a paper. And the last app is Genially. I placed it in the Creative Amplify box because students can create their presentation more fun, more visual, and they can add all the activities, the comic, the video, the timeline, the final reflection. Is like a normal presentation, but more complete and dynamic than a normal presentation. Now I'm going to explain how I will assess my students. To evaluate this project, I will use a rubric that includes the main aspects of the 3 activities that I have prepared for my students, the comic, the stop motion video, and the interactive presentation. I will assess not only the final result, but also the creativity, the historical understanding, and the students' ability to use the digital tools effectively. Teamwork and communication will also be considered. This is the rubric I will use to assess my students. It includes 7 criteria: excellent, good, satisfactory, the first one is comic creation. I will check if the story is creative, clear, and well structured. The second one is stop motion animation. I will look at the quality of the animation and how meaningful the stunt is. The third one is interactive presentation. I will see if they include everything: summary, video, timeline, and reflection, and if they are right. In the historical understanding, I will check if they understand the historical facts and explain them correctly. In use of digital tools, I will see how well they use the tools Pixton, Kabout, and Genially. In creativity and originality, I will value creativity and personal ideas. And in the last criteria, collaboration and effort, I will also consider how well they worked in groups and how much effort they showed. This criteria is underlined because it's so important. It will have a strong negative impact on the final grade if some students do all the work while others don't participate. Now I'm going to talk about privacy, data protection, and the rights of the apps that I used in this project. The first app is Picton. Picton for Education complies with regulation that protect children's data. Teachers can control a student account, so it's safe if you use with teacher supervision. But there are some versions that collect data. such as your name, your email. So it's important to carefully review the educational account settings. And I have to say something of that app is that you have to pay if you want to do a real comic, because in the free version you only can do one comic and 3 scenes. You cannot do more than 3 scenes. The second app is CapCut. Although it has clear terms of use, it collects data such as location, usage, device, uploaded content. By using CapCut, you accept that some of your content is going to be used for improving their service. So you can use the app, but you have to take care. It's not specifically designed for education, so it doesn't have educational certifications. And then the last app is Genially. Genially complies with the GDPR, with the European General Data Protection Regulation, which is very positive. It offers educational accounts and protects the user identifier. The content created remains the property of the user, although Genially may feature it as an example, but only if the user allows it. Now I'm going to explain my project using the ACAD framework. The ACAD framework stands for Activity Center Analysis of Design. It helps us design learning experiences by looking at the following key elements. Spaces and resources. The students will do the activity in the classroom using laptops or in a computer room. They could use their mobile phones too. Design of the social interaction. In my activities, there is a teacher. I'm the teacher. The tasks are going to be done in pairs or in teams. And there are persons who generate ideas and a person who works in the task, and these are the students. With these 3 tasks, my students will learn through the practice and through exercise. They have to search for new information. It's an active learning. They are learning at the same time they are acquiring the information. My students will do role plays because they must be part of the story they create in the first activity. They can use techniques such as brainstorming to choose the main idea of the story. At the end of the activity, they will present the story to all the class. They will also create a timeline, which can be designed using visual thinking. And during the project, they will work in teams to discuss about the story and decide which scene to recreate in the stop-motion activity. Now let's start with the second part of the video. First, I want to introduce the term PLE, Personal Learning Environment. According to Adela and Castañeda, we can define PLE as a set of tools, resources, connections, and activities each person uses regularly to learn. And a PLE has 3 main parts: reading, doing and reflecting, and discussing. In my PLE, I would include some tools that I have discovered during this course. For example, Padlet, because I think it's a very useful tool to share ideas in a collaborative way and for group work. Mentimeter is another tool that I would like to add because it's very useful to collect feedback for your classmates or teachers and know how you can improve in the next task. Blogger, because it's a great tool to organize all your tasks, and you can also see the posts of your classmates, so you can take some ideas about how you can improve your work. Then Google Docs, I used for group work too, and it allows me to edit at the same time as the others. And Microsoft too. It helps me to organize all the tasks and my assignments for the course. This is the diagram of my PLE. Microsoft To Do helps me organize my tasks now, but in the future it could evolve into a smarter tool. It might include AI features like smart reminders, personalized scheduling, or automatic integration with my academic calendar. DICCOMEDU stands for Digital Competence Framework for Educators. It was created to help teachers and future teachers understand how to use technology effectively in education. These are the most important areas for me. Digital resources. It means knowing how to find, create, and share digital materials to support learning. In this course, I learned to use Pixton to make comics, Mblock to program CodeRookie to do educational activities, how to use AI in a better way. These tools helped me create fun and meaningful digital resources for my students. Teaching and learning. This area focuses on using technology to plan and guide learning and to promote active participation and collaboration. We are always using tools such as Google Docs to communicate with each other and plan the activities that we have to expose every week in class. Empowering learners. It's about using technology to help students feel more involved, more independent, and learn in their own space. In this course, I saw how digital tools like Mentimeter allow students to express their opinion and how Blogger lets them reflect and take control of their learning. The activities we did in class gave us a lot of freedom to create something we truly liked, using our creativity while still following some rules and working with digital tools. I believe I earn an 8 because I have completed all the activities, and although the tools that I have used are so simple, I think that I have used it in a very creative way. I also showed that I can use technology in a meaningful and pedagogical way, even though I know I still have some difficulties with technology and also with communication. I try to stay calm when I have to express myself, but sometimes I can't. And that's something I know that I have to improve. I think that being the spotter was the most difficult role for me. Although being an analyst was difficult too, I think that being the spotter was so different because I was never really sure if I was doing the task correctly or if I was missing something. Sometimes I felt a bit confusing, and that's made the role a little bit difficult. I used AI during this final exam to help me organize my ideas, to ask for more ideas, um, also to improve my English, and I think that to try to understand more clearly some concepts, but the AI didn't do the thing for me. I got inspired by the AI, and then I tried to adapt this idea to my own style.